Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review A Simple Favor. And I'm a huge fan of the film. I was really surprised by how much I loved it when I checked it out with Anna Kendrick in it, who I'm a huge fan of, and Blake Lively, who absolutely kills it in the film. But this book is from Darcey Bell and focuses on a single mom, Stephanie, whose best friend Emily goes missing, and she has to help take care of Emily's son and begins to develop a connection with Emily's husband along the way. And this is like that kind of like sleazy yet compelling kind of whodunit, and this takes place in Connecticut. There's a lot of money involved and like focus on like wealth and materialism and sex and all kinds of like there's murder, and feels like something that would wind up on like Lifetime or something like that. But it takes those kinds of ideas similar to something like Gone Girl and elevates them. And Darcey Bell's able to do that with a well-written and compelling story. And you have the story structure where it's focusing on like Stephanie has these blogs and she goes on, she types out these blogs, and that's one way for us as the audience to pick up information is through the blogs. And then you get like the more truth when you have chapters focusing on Stephanie from her perspective of the events going on, but then you do have some from Emily and from her husband, and that's what helped create the big picture and the more well-rounded approach to this story. And at the very center, it's like you have Stephanie as your main driving force, and then as the story goes on, we get some different perspectives. And this book in particular, it's like it kind of reframes your perspective on Stephanie, who is someone that, as an audience and a reader here, we really care about. And we care about her losing her friend and being worried and stuff like that. Layers are pulled back. We get better perspective on things. And these different perspectives add layers to the story and complexities to the mystery, to the murders, to whatever's going on in this film, and really figuring out what all the moving pieces are. As this book, you go through it deeper and deeper, you do pull back those layers, and you get surprises along the way, you get twists along the way. The blog usage is an interesting thing because it kind of sets up a different kind of perspective, even from Stephanie herself, what she's trying to portray to the world versus what she's really feeling. And it really captures our sense of like public sharing and social media. And Emily is a very mysterious and intriguing character, and when we finally get to see behind the curtain of her, it's something pretty compelling and interesting and dark, and all the different things that she's been through. And there's some serious taboos that are tackled in this book as well that add some darker dimensions, especially to Stephanie's past. In particular, some of the encounters she's had in her past with certain people, and there's like that twisted empowerment message of like Gone Girl, similar to this. This does remind me a decent amount of Gone Girl from like very broad strokes. It's definitely a different story, but it has a woman disappearing, and there's a lot more to the story than leads on, and you slowly have more perspective. And like obviously Stephanie would be like the husband role in this, if you're thinking, make that comparison to Gone Girl. And this definitely has like a dark ending where it kind of like you don't really know how to feel about it, because by the end it's hard to process exactly how you feel about each of these characters and who's really in the right, who's in the wrong, or if anybody is. And that's what's so dark and complex about this story, is it adds those layers. From the film definitely has a much cleaner ending. And, you have the video blogs, but for the most part, it's like the story structure, you from the beginning are seeing Stephanie's interactions with Emily, and then she goes missing. Here, she's missing. And it's all trying to pull those threads back and using that nonlinear storytelling to help build up that perspective. And I think the structure that Darcey Bell uses in this is very interesting. It's engaging. It builds the tension and suspense of the novel to offer up a really crazy but just a book page turner where you just can't put it down because you just want to find out what's happening next. And that is definitely a hallmark of a impressive book, and I definitely recommend A Simple Favor. But those are my thoughts on A Simple Favor. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some books. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.